Guys, welcome back. Let's solve the fourth problem from weekly contest 60. This is a hard problem, so I will try my best to clarify the problem statement clearly. Here we have three expressions, that is let expression, add expression and multiply expression. Multiply and add expression is self-explanatory. We will have two values that we need to add or multiply. The let expression is a bit confusing, so let me explain let expression. In the let expression, we will have multiple variable and evaluation. Like here, we have variable v and the value of variable v1 is e1. And at the end of our let expression, we will have another expression that we need to evaluate and return the value of. Now let's see the first example so that we can understand it a bit clearly. Here, let x2. X is our variable which is having value 2. And this whole thing inside our first bracket is the expression that we need to evaluate. Now multiply x with this whole expression, and here we are having another let expression where x is 3 and y is 4. So adding x and y, we will get 7, and then multiplying x with 7, we will get, as x is 2, we will get 14. So this is how we need to solve this problem. We can solve this problem following these 4 steps. First, we need to get the in parenthesis location. Then we need to pass the expression into a list. Each new sublist is a set of parentheses. Like here, this parenthesis is a sublist. Similarly, this parenthesis is also a sublist, and so on. Then we need to change the string expression into a list expression. Like if our input is a string expression like this, we need to change it to a list expression like this. Then we need to evaluate the expression with starting scope. That is, for this expression, our starting scope is this one. And for this expression, our starting scope is going to be this one. And our starting scope will also have the value of this one inside it. Now as x is 2 here and x is 3 here, so our value will be overwritten. Here I have written our 4 steps. First, I need to get the in parenthesis location starting our starting parenthesis location. For that we need a stack and a hash map. This is the in parenthesis location. Now we can enumerate our expression list. And if our character is the starting parenthesis, then we will add the index to our stack. Else if our character is our in parenthesis, then we will add the in parenthesis location inside our in parenthesis dictionary. Here I am popping the value from the stack, so we can add our in parenthesis location using our starting parenthesis location. Now after finishing our first step, we need to parse the expression into a list where each new sublist is a set of parentheses. So let me define the function. Here I am taking an array and a word list. Now inside our while loop we have multiple conditions. Let me write them. If our expression of I is the starting parenthesis, then we can add a new sublist inside our array, like array append and then we can just increment our I value to the end of the sublist, that is parent end of I. After that, if our expression is a empty space, like or our expression is the ending parenthesis and our word list is not empty, then we can add our word to our array by joining our word list. And then we can make our word list empty and increment our I variable. Else if our expression I is the ending parenthesis, then we can just add the expression inside word. And increment our I variable. Else we just need to increment our I variable. Now after finishing this while loop, we're gonna check if our word list is empty or not. If that is not the case, then we're gonna add the word to our array list. After that, we can return our array. Now in the third step, we need to change the string expression in the list expression. So let me do this. I can do this by just calling this parse function. Now in the fourth step, we need to evaluate the expression with a starting scope. So I'm going to write a function for this. So let me define the function. This expression is a list and our scope is a Hashmap, or in this case dictionary. Inside this generate evaluation function, first we're gonna check if our expression is a list or not. If that is not the case, then we're gonna just try to evaluate the expression as a integer variable. If we fail to do so, then we're gonna return the expression value from our scope. Now if that is not the case, then our expression is a list variable, and so our expression can be any expression from let, add or multiply. So let me consider all of them one by one. If our expression is a let variable, then we can just remove the let from our list. After that, we can use a while loop. To check if the length of our expression is greater than 2 or not. If it's greater than 2, then we have variables and their values inside our let expression, so we need to get them inside our scope. I haven't defined this let eval function, so I'm going to define this let eval function next. Let me define this let eval function. This is also going to have the same variables as our gen eval function. This is just going to include the expression 0 inside our scope. And then return our scope. Now after we add this new value inside our scope, we need to increment our expression value by 2. And then we're going to return the last expression from our let expression that we need to evaluate. So we can return just now let me write the other condition, that is, what if we have add expression and what if we have multiply expression. Now for add expression, we're gonna just simply return which is gonna take our expression and scope. Similarly for multiply expression, we're gonna return multiple, which also gonna take our expression and scope. Now I need to define these two functions, so let me define them. This function is again calling our gen eval function to get the value of our first add expression value, because our gen eval function is returning the value if it's an integer or if it's inside the scope. Now I'm getting the second value for our add expression. Similarly, I will define the multiply eval function. This is just also gonna call the gen-eval function to get the value of its first and second variables. Now we need to call this gen-eval function from our main function, that is the evaluate function. So let me do that. This function is taking a expression and a scope. So for the expression, we're gonna pass the expression list, which we have calculated before, and for the scope we're gonna just pass an empty dictionary. Now let's run this and see. Sorry guys for the typos, there are multiple typos in the solution, so we need to solve them to get it accepted. So first of all, in the else if expression I have given equal equal, this will be not equal. Then I have used mali in this expression, so it will be mult. Then in this add eval and multiply eval function, I have used the 0 and the first item from the expression, but the 0 item is the add variable, or the 0 item is the add string or the multiply string. So we need to use the first and the second expression. Hope now this will be accepted. So let me submit it again. We are giving wrong answer because I am using plus sign here. We need to use multiple sign here for the multiple eval function. Now let me submit it again. Yeah, this time this is accepted, and we pass all the 66 test cases.